I wrote The New Human in part to give those who've been oppressed and marginalized hope that the arc of justice could easily turn in their favor, but not without reimagining how they show up for themselves in a world where the odds are stacked against them. These are brown and black bodies, minorities, poor, women, LGBTQ+. It's anyone who sits outside the immediate benefit and bounty of public policy. But if you can reimagine yourself, you can also reimagine your economy. You could reimagine your economy, if not create a new economy. Because, you can't purchase inner peace or wholeness as a consumer product or service. You can't buy your way into love, and I dare say you can't buy your way out of oppression, at least not without becoming an oppressor. And we don't need more oppressors in the world. You can, however, though, love your way from the grips of fear. And if fear can't hold you captive, you can obliterate your oppression. This is what this conversation is aimed at helping you accomplish. I wrote the book, The New Human. But these words aren't designed to resemble the treatise of a theologian or a scientist. Speaking of love like this is a feat that's far beyond my pay grade, perhaps, but it's not beyond my experience. I, like you, have outlasted every experience. I'm humbled, though, to be forever playing catch up to love's latest revelation. Love is constantly moving beyond me, surprising me. And I implore you not to read this book either as a work of psychology or academia. Rather, these words come to you from the heart of a poet and a mystic. More or less a conversation, a discourse I have with life and its observable happenings. But quite often it's just me looking and listening. When I was a kid, some years ago, we'd call it watching and praying. It was kind of a church language. My family used church language. But it asks for the same thing, that we pay attention. Think about what we see and hear. It asks us to be present with these events. I'd like to have that same conversation I started in my 20s. I'd like to have that conversation with you. Not a conversation that's like a back and forth. Obviously, it's a book. You can't talk back to me right now. Not like the back and forth between two people, but I don't want you to have a conversation with me either that is laced with the intention to change your mind about anything. I'm interested in complimenting what you know. I want to hear it and see it. I want to compliment what you see. And maybe together, we might see something different and perhaps even better. I ask a question in this book: can you make your best better? Something that lives as an augmentation of what we are and what we know. Conversations like jazz. Jazz is an improvisational art where the music skillfully explores and expresses previously unforeseen possibilities. And you are being invited to love like jazz. Pause for a minute. Think about that. Loving like Coltrane and Charlie Parker. As you read this book or hear these words, you'll see the phrase, love anyway. Those words will appear frequently. This phrase caught me and raptured me years ago, revisiting the experience of pain in my relationships. I took that phrase, I ingested it. As I would say it, though, it took off like a meme, and maybe it can go viral one day. I hope it does. And it started a new wave of conversations, both within myself and with others. These conversations, they asked me to look more deeply into myself to see what I might find that lives limitlessly and unthreatened. I did this in an effort not to be convinced by the pain or the threat of pain to choose against love. And I learned from my interactions that the words we hold near to our hearts are powerful, extremely powerful. But by loving anyway, we're geniuses. We both are. We all are. We get to demonstrate repeatedly through our relationships that we have something to say that's never been said before. Something to be that's never been before. Something to hear that's never been heard before. Something to see that's never been seen before. That's you. This whole book can be summed up in this one sentence or statement. Your capacity to love is limitless. And when you're challenged to not believe this, love anyway.